She makes like video content of old games, like
I'm sorry,
Juggernaut.
baby.
If you're gonna have these conversations, can you please let me know?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're being insanely loud.
I am. I'm sorry. I was too loud, guys.
I gotta feel in trouble.
I'm sorry. My wife wants to go to sleep. I'm sorry, guys.
Zylvania did a $5 super chat. He says, do you think there's an agenda trend? Kratos is being replaced. Joel is replaced. Jin Sakai is replaced. Gerald is being replaced. What do you think? First off, Gerald was always going to be replaced. We knew that. Just playing Witcher 3, you knew that. Like, that was always the plan. From back, from the original days when, what was her name? Originally debuted and, he was raising her or whatever to be a Witcher. You knew that was coming. Like, this is no shock to anyone. Okay? Joel being replaced, we know the story there. We know about Neil Druckmann and his insane leftist agendas. I mean, that's literally what he's outright said. He hates Joel as a character, and he wanted to basically push as liberal as possible of agendas in Last of Us 2. That was his intention. He even hid behind that as a cloak when people tried to actually criticize his game, saying that people were bigots just for saying that, it had, flaws. Like, I would criticize the writing of the game and say the pacing's bad. Oh, you're a bigot. No, I'm not. I just like good narrative, and you're a hack. Okay? Jin Sakai, here's the deal. I don't think that Jin Sakai got replaced. I think that Ghost of Tsushima was a one-off game. Ghost of Tsushima was meant to be a one-off game with a one-off plot. Even when they made the DLC, it was a stretch to make the DLC. And then they realized, oh, we have a hit on our hands. We need to make another one. But we already did the story of Jin Sakai, right? Like, what are we going to do? Well, let's make a new one with a new character or whatever. So let's go as crazy as possible away from Jin Sakai. Let's make it a different time period with a woman. You didn't need to make it. Seriously. Like, sometimes one-off games are good. And in that case, I just don't think that there was going to be a sequel to Jin's story. Then don't make the game at all. There was no need to make it with another character or any of that, right? Kratos is not being replaced. They're just making a game that Kratos isn't the main character, but he'll be back. I'd be surprised if they ever make a game at this point with Kratos as only the main character, because you've got Kratos, you've got Atreus, now you've got Faye. They're probably going to make games where all of them are in it from now on. That's what I would think anyway. And I know that some people might be pissed because they'd be like, hey, we love Kratos. That's who the series always was about. The title is God of War. Well, they decided to make the series more than just that. Much like God of War 2018, a lot of people were pissed. If you're not aware, when God of War 2018 came out, a ton of people were very upset because they said this isn't the spirit of the original games. In the original games, Kratos was always this guy full of rage, and he would brutally murder everyone and everything around him. He would lose control and just rip gods' limbs off and shove them up their assholes. He would literally have gratuitous sex scenes minigames, right? In God of War 2018, basically all that was taken away. And they said, now he's matured. He's a dad. He's grown up. He's different now. And, oh, hold on one second. Excuse me. I have to do a flex. Very nice. Thank you. And I'll shout that out in a sec. So in God of War 2018, they said, Kratos has grown up. He's matured. He's learned from his mistakes. He wants to leave his past behind him. That's why he takes those chains of chaos or whatever, chains of fury, and he hides them under his house. He doesn't want anyone to even know that he ever used them before, right? And he wants to be a dad to Atreus. So he's growing up, and people were like, well, that's not the character. Well, it is. That's his journey. That's his evolution. So I guess what they've decided to do is now they want to move the series into a more serious tone. They want to have a more diverse cast of characters so that there's more stories to be told. If it was always just Kratos' story, it probably wouldn't be nearly as interesting if it's also the story of Atreus, and now it's the story of Faye, and now they're going to have other characters, right? Look, let's be honest. God of War 2018 and Ragnarok wouldn't have been as good if it didn't have the two dwarven blacksmiths in it. They were very much a part of the story. In fact, in Ragnarok, they were a humongous part of the story, right? And that's a good thing. If it was just about Kratos, it probably would have been boring. Games are evolving. They're becoming more works of art instead of just button mashers. And that's good. But I agree with you that if everything goes ultra woke, or if they announce, oh, Kratos is out, now it's only going to be about Faye moving forward, then yeah, you'd have a point. So Oh, no, not him again. Did a $2 super chat. Says they swapped redheads for blacks in media nowadays. I guess. I don't really know. I guess if you give me some examples of what you mean, I don't know about that. I got another $2 tip. When a YouTuber tailors their content on being anti-woke, and that's how they get their revenue, they'll now automatically need everything to be woke or else the money stops. What happens if they have no videos to make that week and people need to be aware of that? Exactly. 100% culture war grifting is insanely prominent. I mean, side scrollers literally changed their entire format of their show from being a video game pop culture theme show that flopped and failed because no one cared about Stuttering Craig talking about video games when he's insanely out of touch about them. And he turned it into a right-wing culture wars grifting show. We even talked about the quartering recently. That was his whole shtick. Culture wars grifting. You got to say everything's woke. You got to say everything. Oh, SJW's left, right, up, and down. So you have something to attack this week so you'll get views and make money. You know, I agree with you there. I think that there's just too much of a mentality of everything's a dollar sign and everything's a bag to be had. You know? All right. Anyway, thank you for the support. And then we have Unwoke Old School Gamer who has gifted a sub. Thank you for the gifted sub this morning, Unwoke Old School Gamer. Let's get that on the leaderboard, our first sub of the day. Okay. Okay, folks. So what I like to do is just hang out for another 10, 15 minutes. Let's build up attendance slightly more, and then we're going to get started with Symphony of the Night for our major stream, okay? So, what would you guys like to talk about? Please tag me in the chat. Let's see what you want to talk about. And a quick reminder that today, for $50 contributions, I will open a pack of Pokemon cards. If you were thinking of getting a card pack opened, I would argue do your support now so we can actually get it done during the show. My hair is sticking up right there and won't go down. I'm probably going to have to wet it. How stupid. I would say do it right now so that way we can actually do the card pack openings on the show, or else we're going to have to, you know, do them at the very end of the Symphony of the Night portion of the stream, which would be a little bit more annoying to have to do that at the end. Yeah, I know. Is it cowlick? It's like just sticking right up right in the middle of my head. Very annoying. I wasn't doing that before. What's up, TX Shooter? How are you, man? Typical average